Now, in yesterday's IPL clash, Lucknow Super Giants secured a convincing 4-wicket victory over Mumbai Indians, marking their 6th win of the season and propelling them to the 3rd place on the points table with 12 points. Opting to bowl first after winning the toss at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow, Lucknow restricted Mumbai to 144 runs for 7 out in 20 overs. In response, Lucknow chased down the target with 4 balls to spare, finishing at 145 runs with 6 out in 19.2 overs. Marcus Stoinis shined with the bat. He scored a crucial 62 off 45 balls, supported by captain KL Rahul's 28 runs. Hardik Pandya was the pick of the bowlers for Mumbai, who claimed 2 wickets. Stoinis was awarded the player of the match for his impactful performance. Today's IPL fixture features a clash between Chennai Super Kings and Punjab Kings at MA Chidambaram Stadium, with Chennai coming off a dominant 78-run victory over Sunrisers in their last match and Punjab achieving the highest successful run chase in T20 history against Kolkata. Anticipation runs high. Historically, Chennai holds a slight edge with 15 wins out of 28 encounters against Punjab. However, Punjab emerged victorious in their previous meeting last season, winning by 4 wickets. This sets the stage for an exciting contest as both the teams are striving to solidify their positions in the tournament. Now, my colleague Sunil Yashkalra will take forward the show.
Thank you, Megha. How does it feel to be padding up for cricket and not for international relations? That's a question I wanted to ask you, Megha.
Diversion, and it's very exciting. Very exciting, a diversion,
Absolutely.
But a very pleasant, welcoming diversion.
Well, this is a special cricket predictor show straight from the heart of Dubai. We are in a beautiful, lovely cruise, but at the same time, we are talking cricket, and it's a conference that is going on, talking about all the things, the future of cricket. And I'm pleased to welcome all my guests. Let me throw on to David Brooks right now. David, what do you make of the current situation of, we've discussed the Indian names, you've discussed the exclusion, but do you think, will it impact the players, especially when they go onto the field right now, especially the ones who haven't, who've made the cut? David Brooks.
Well, it's got to give some extra confidence to the likes of Shivan Dubé, who's, has been named in the squad. So, yeah, it's gonna help them a lot, isn't it? And it's going to give them an extra zip in there. As far as the people that have missed out, other people be looking to make a name for themselves. I mean, one of the players I've enjoyed watching the most is in action today. There's a little known name at the start of this tournament. That's Shashank Singh, and someone like him has come from a complete obscurity. Okay, probably hasn't, done enough to get into the World Cup spot, but he certainly made a name for himself and been one of the players of the tournament for me. Seeing them in action today, seeing Shivan Dubé, a chance for him to demonstrate why he's been picked. And Gaikwad probably be disappointed to miss out because, he's been in great form. We talked about Rahul yesterday, but Gaikwad also has been in absolutely prime form. And he'll be disappointed, I think, to miss out after what he's achieved, not just with his captaincy, but the way that he's led the CSK team. Well,
there are 2 names in the World Cup team, Shivam Dubé and Ravindra Jadeja, the old war horse. Do you think today it's an eye to keep out on them and we should look out for their performance, David Brooks?
Well, yeah, I mean, Jadeja hasn't torn up any trees so far. His average is looking good. Around about 70. He hasn't got out, but I think his strike rate round about 135, which in a normal IPL would be considered to be pretty good. But in this one, because the domination of bat over ball, for reasons that we've discussed, that I think that's the subject that's really occupying people outside of India. It's these massive scores that we've been seeing. And, we talked about inflation in the run department, but I'll give you another economic word to think about, and that's devaluation. Does it devalue the runs, the amount of runs that have been scored, and what can we learn from it? And is it all good news in terms of these great scores, or will the IPL do something in the future to make it a more even contest between bat and ball? I suppose that's one of the subtopics that will be running on until after this tournament is over.
Well, you put a nice point to it, David Brooks. We're discussing with the think tank of the ICC, and there's been a conference that has been going on. But more importantly, Paul Dinette, my friend from Australia who joins in. Paul, what do you think of the today's contest between the Punjab and CSK? Considering Punjab has got little confidence under their belt, and they're out to prove a point. Paul Dinette.
Yeah, they have, and I mean their last game was astonishing. Biggest chase in the history of T20 cricket. I think Johnny Bairstow obviously watches Cricket Predicta because I think last time I spoke about him, I criticised him sharply, and he's responded magnificently. Yet another prediction that I've got wrong. So I think it's a really tasty kind of encounter tonight. I agree with David. There is a conversation to be had about are the scores too big. But if I'm being honest, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, the IPL starts at midnight in Australian time. It's tough to watch. And when you're seeing sixes and fours galore, it makes it so much easier. And the potential on show tonight, it's going to be interesting. Speaking of Jadeja, his bowling has been superb, but he has been a little bit of an anchor at the start of the CSK innings. It hasn't affected them. They're flying high in the table. They look very likely to make the semi-finals, but a couple of times they've probably left their run a bit too late. Against the two games they lost against Lucknow, will they be able to do that come the finals time, or do they need to promote some players up the order and make sure that they're a bit more aggressive? So it'll be interesting to see what their tactics are tonight.
Well, welcome the former Indian wicketkeeper Sutherland Vishwanath. Do a recap of yesterday's show and just throw some light on today's. Who are the top movers and shakers in today's match? Sutherland Vishwanath, if you can hear us.
Well, I think Marcus Stoinis, the stone-hearted Marcus Stoinis, led the way. Excellent win for LSG yesterday, although it was a bit of a tense victory. But they pulled it off very well with just about 3 or 4 balls to spare. And I think today's match between Mumbai Indians and Chennai, is it? So then, if you remind me of today's game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Punjab
and Chennai at Chepauk Stadium. Chepauk.
Yeah. You see, Sunil, what's been happening, we have not yet reached the 50 matches mark this season. And already 8 teams have breached the 250 mark. And in 16 years, in 16 years of the IPL history, that has happened only twice previously. So what you and David, only twice they've breached the 250 mark. So are we in for one more exciting match today? Can Mumbai breach, can CSK make that 250 mark once again? And can Punjab chase it? It's going to be very interesting. Punjab, RCB and Mumbai Indians are languishing at the bottom of the table. So for them to move up the order with a minus run rate, it's pretty tough. Basically, predominantly, the top 5 teams are retaining their positions in this present 2024 edition. I don't see the bottom team moving up because they all have a negative run rate.
Well, you made a very interesting point. See, from the pitch, it moves on to the run rate to the points table. And that's how the game of the longer duration of cricket moves in. Again, Paul Dinette, I'm going to draw you into this conversation. In today's game versus PBKS will be the last game for Mustafizur Rahman plays for CSK. He is the leading wicket taker at 14 and he leads for national duty for Bangladesh after the match. Do you expect him to play a sensational match today, considering the way he's been bowling?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pity that he's leaving the tournament. He's obviously an exciting player, taking 14 wickets.
Paul, just a correction, addition rather. His teammate Pathirana also features in the same cap. And he also there are reports that he will move on later, like Sikandar Raza. Go on, Paul.
Well, with Mustafiza, he's taken the 14 wickets. He's got an incredible strike rate of 13. He's economy rate 9.8. In a normal IPL, you would say was a bit high, but in this IPL, do the maths, 9.8. Let's call it 10. If everyone went at 10 and over, that's 200. That's a below par score in this IPL. So I think it's a great pity that he's leaving. It's interesting to me that national bodies are still scheduling matches against the IPL. Australia's long given up that. We don't schedule anything. We've realised that this is a battle not to be fought. So the fact that Zimbabwe and Bangladesh are playing a series is quite surprising.
Well, that's a good point you raised, but considering that there is very scarce representation from both the countries, so they might as well go along and do that. But when it comes to bowling performance in the power play, the first 6 overs, both CSK and Punjab have players who are in the top 10 wicket takers during this phase. What do you think of Arshdeep and Deepak Chahar? They've been batting, and this question is for David Brooks when he looks at those two bowlers.
Yeah. Just before I answer that, Sunil, the other players who are going to be leaving early are some of the England players, because they're going to be called back by the ECB to prepare for their 3-match series against Pakistan, but that's not until the knockout stages. So again, I think Paul makes a good point. Try and get players there for the duration and don't schedule against the IPL. In terms of those, the bowlers you mentioned, I mean, to me, the key bowler is on the CSK side. The one that I really rate very highly is Patirana, and the longer he stays at the tournament, the better. He really has been shining light, hasn't he? He's been drilling in those Yorkers, and I think it's true that when you've got these run fests, you really do notice the bowlers who are able to stand out within that tournament. So there's not only a handful of them, but you really do appreciate the cream that rises to the top when you've got boundaries raining all over the place. And Patirana is one of those. I mean, he was a bit let down in the last match by the fielding, but he's one of those bowlers who's capable of getting key wickets. And yes, wickets need to count. It must be demoralising for a lot of the bowlers when they take 2 or 3 wickets and then another batsman comes in and another one. There's always another one with the impact sub. There's always someone else who can come in. So we're not seeing any easy wickets, and it's real tough going for the bowlers. I mean, Arshdeep for Punjab, he's going to be on cloud 9, having been picked as the 3rd seamer for India in the World Cup. So he's someone to watch today. And I guess you've got Thakur for CSK, who might also have something to say, particularly when the Fizz goes. He's likely to get a more prominent role in the CSK lineup.
Who do you think is a stronger team, David, before I go on to Southern Vishwanath?
The stronger of the 2 teams?
That's correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd have to say CSK. I know that the Kings put up an amazing performance in the last game, and Johnny Bairstow finally listened to Paul. And Bairstow is someone that doesn't like being criticised. He likes to prove a point. So he's proved his point. Is he capable of doing it again? I would probably bet against that. And will Shashank Singh rescue the Kings again, which he has done? I'm glad to see he was promoted number 4. I'm still going to go CSK, Sunil. They've got Undergate.
Absolutely. When we look at the last 4 games at the Chipok Stadium in the last 4 years, all the games, whether it's 2023, PBKS won by 4 wickets, 2023 again won by 11 runs. In 22, they won by 54 runs. In 2021, they won by 6 wickets. So Punjab has certainly managed to crack the Chennai code. Would you agree with those kind of records at the home stadium, home place? Do you think they know the jigsaw puzzle?
Yes, Punjab is a potent team. And Chennai too, they haven't conceded 250 runs when they bowl. So they have been bowling, and restricting their opponents. Now, these 2 teams are playing each other for the first time. Their next match will again be at Dharamshala. So I expect this match to be a humdinger, And after a long time, these 2 teams are meeting. After nearly 50 games have been played, 48 or 49 games. So Chennai and Punjab, I think I will go with David. I will definitely back Chennai, because Chennai now have moved to the 3rd position, and Punjab have a lot of catching up to do. And it's very tough at this stage of the tournament to play catching up, because the top 5 teams are not going to slip so easily. And I don't see the top 5 teams slipping. I don't see the bottom teams climbing up. And so I'm going to go.
Absolutely. Sutherland, we've got to talk about a larger issue here before we conclude the show in another 2-3 minutes. We have to ask about the battle that is there against IPL, in a sense that most of the boards have sided with IPL, and some of them actually do a series parallel to that. Do you think it's a positive, healthy sign, considering the teams and the players who are not playing, and perhaps the associate members? Is good sign that they're carrying on with their cricket, because we are right now in UAE and they seem to be practicing, playing, and looking at the other players. Go on.
Well, I think the ICC have scheduled the cricket story all over the world pretty well. They have a time slot, they have a window for all the particular tournaments. Yes, there are affiliated teams that are trying to make the cut, but look how T20 has spread its tentacles and gone all over the world. And very soon they're going to play the T20 World Cup in America. I went to America, way back in 1986 when Kapil Dev's team defeated the mighty England team 2-0. So I was sharing a room with Maninder Singh, and we played against the expats, the West Indies expats, the Pakistani expats, even the Chinese expats, a few of the Chinese who played. And that's the time I predicted to the American television people and the radio that America will host an international cricket tournament very soon. And who knows, maybe someday America will have a mighty strong cricket team. And I'm very happy that my prediction came true. And once again, when I went there to America in 2011 to conduct a cricket coaching camp, I could see that cricket has developed so much in America. So the ICC are behind all this development. They have pumped in millions and billions of dollars to conduct this T20 tournament. And the affiliated units, mark my words, Sunil, they will get their turn. They have to be patient, they have to perform, and they have to move up the ladder.
Well, absolutely. They'll move up the ladder, considering the kind of Indian exports players that you've seen there, who are doing a good job and promoting and pollinating the cricket field. Paul Dinette, we've got the feel from the two gentlemen here on the show, Sutherland, the legend, and David Brooks, the star punter in the show today. What's your assessment of the match today?
I'm tempted to say Chennai, because obviously they have been much better throughout the tournament. Punjab have been disappointing in the extreme, but I'm going to go for an upset. I think that Punjab are running into a bit of form. David mentioned Shashank Singh. Ashutosh Sharma has been a revelation as well. If someone like Riley Russo and Sam Curran, who haven't really hit their straps with the bat, can do so. I like the fact that their bowling has been reasonably consistent as well. They haven't had many players who've really gone the journey. Their economy rates are fairly tight. It's hard to tip against CSK because they are such a wonderful side. But for the sake of keeping things interesting, I just have a hunch that maybe there's going to be an upset tonight.
Well, we're talking about one of our guests is talking about upset. The other two are closely siding in with the old war horse who's won hearts and IPL trophies. Well, that's all we had time for. I thank my panelists on the show.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.